whatever you want to call it. Good morning, everybody.
You didn't use the bathroom when in the morning when you woke up when you was young?
Absolutely, but I'm up so early that I got to pay attention to what I eat and what I don't eat, because I might use it as soon as I get up, and then like 2.5 hours later, depending on what particularly if I had coffee on empty stomach. I mean, I've gotten to learn my body pretty well, and it's like, okay, you need to get up and do this now because you notice the reaction. Blah 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 blah. So, but good morning, everybody. Welcome to We Have Something to Say. You know, as me and Kenneth discuss our background bloopers and all the shit we talk about.
No, more like the shit that's coming out your body early in the morning before you got to use the bathroom before you come on the thing.
Man, I like to see that. If that been me,
let's get your bowel movement.
If that had been me putting you on, wait. If that had been me putting you on blast, you be talking to me. But hey, you know, I'm perfectly comfortable with men health issues, all of them. I'm perfectly comfortable talking about them. Hey, you know, that's one great thing about being our age.
Well, you do it all the time.
No,
I got to get before you get.
So you do it to me all the time. So, Kenneth and I've been having this ongoing conversation. Two things I want to talk about, if he's willing to talk about. One, I've been having this ongoing conversation with one of my listeners, or a good friend of mine, and one of Kenneth's alpha brothers, all these damn alphas. And we've been talking. I've been talking to him about the effectiveness of
life has been enriched just by knowing us.
Okay. I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me all that energy. I appreciate you. It's kind of like getting a contact from somebody smoking weed, huh? Just to be in the room, you're gonna feel it. The effectiveness of
you still benefit from it.
Yeah, that's right. Look, where you at? You in a hotel room? You at home? Kenneth, can you hear me? You all can see we're gonna be going in and out all day today. Make sure it's not my connection and his, since it starts on my connection, not his connection. We've been talking about the lack of effectiveness. Is it working? Do you see it working? Of the quote unquote hurt feelings of Black folks that say they're sitting it out because of the November 5th election. So we're in June right now. And my viewpoint has always been and will forever be based on the numbers. And one of the things we talked about is we are a permanent minority in America. We're 47 million. Out of those 47 million, only 34 million are registered to vote. And one of the things I've been saying for the last year is when they get to when white people who are the majority in this country, by design, get to a threshold of 70%, 70 to 75% of white voters voting one way, it don't matter which way you vote. And you're going to have allies to get to their numbers. So my question has been, and I've talked to my wife about it, I've talked to different people about it. What is the effectiveness of you saying we're going to sit it out? And I don't trust anybody to speak for my issues at the table. I think we have seen, and I saw the craziest video the other day too, by the matter of fact. We have seen what happens when we don't get involved as they slowly erode things that the generation before us fought and gained. They slowly eroded it. And I also believe, Kenneth, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
You were sitting there like a damn mannequin. You didn't move for like 2 minutes. I was like, is the screen froze? Damn, that was good. That was unbelievable.
You just see me when I'm falling asleep in the class. Anyway, you know, he get them good ones in every once in a while. Anyway, so the question becomes, is this working? And so what Bruce has suggested is that people are strategizing in secret, and they're strategizing
in a way that's effective and secret. And Kenneth has said this too. Hey man, don't give out all our plans on the air. But so my thing is, man, well, how do I know you got plans if you don't give them out somewhere? Before it was black newspapers and black flyers. You know, the Montgomery boycott, I use this all the time because it was the most effective boycott in the history of the civil rights movement. The Montgomery boycott was advertised through 50,000 flyers handed out in 2 days by Tina Louise Robinson and 2 students. And no one would have known if they hadn't passed out those flyers. So were they doing that in secret? So I'm just questioning, and okay, let me add on this. And I want to let Kenneth chime in. I've heard people say, "Oh, don't get out there. They're gonna cause racial violence. They're gonna beat you up." No shit. No shit. Of course they are. You think that those people from the 50s through the 60s didn't know that? Y'all please tell me, say this for me. Don't ever say I'm not my ancestors, because you're not. You think those poor, uneducated people in right below Selma and Jones, Alabama, who started this movement, didn't know that people were gonna come at them with billy clubs? You think they didn't know that? I would just rather tell you scared. You're not willing to go to jail. You're not willing to do what Diane Nash and them did. Just say that. But don't give me this, I'm strategizing differently, but you can't tell me what the strategy is. That's my issue. My issue is if you're going to strategize in secret, somebody tell me. I'm like, Jamal Bryant's not strategizing in secret. How does that work for you all? So I'm going to give this up. So I'm hoping Kenneth can give me some clarity on what I'm missing.
Well, when I say one of the things that I say is in terms of, well, let's go back to your point about having a seat at the table when we get to that point, having a seat at the table. Let's be real. We're not even in the house yet, much less near a table.
Did you let people know we're on your page?
I just did. It don't look like nobody's on here. It look like we on here by ourselves.
It's all right. I like talking to you anyway. Go ahead.
That's crazy because actually I'm not even on live on mine. It's not even showing me being live.
I think we got to go back in and reconnect.
It says I'm on there. No, it's, hold on. Is that YouTube? Yeah, actually, I'm not on my page.
Okay, let me see.
It's not in here.
Here, hold up. I'm gonna change it out.
My YouTube is.
Okay, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna take off your YouTube and put the other one. Yes, remove. All right, so I took your YouTube off and put up your Facebook. Let's see if that took care of it. Let's see if that. Yeah, but you have to go back in and reconnect too. But you should be live on yours right now. You should be live on yours. And I'll just change our plan too to get to more like 10 destinations since you and I keep adding them. So
it ain't done it yet. It's not showing it yet.
Yeah, it's showing me that we're there though. So I don't know. There we go. Yeah, it's showing me that
there
we're
it
there.
is.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering because I was looking at that because I normally look at it on the thing. On
That was
my page.
My bad. Okay.
I don't know. I think I tried to add my Facebook. I mean, not my Facebook, my YouTube page a while ago.
I just gotta go. I gotta upgrade the plan. Well, I'll do that. There's no problem. I'll do that next.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, y'all. So, since nobody was watching the first time, they missed your long soliloquy on why on the subject matter we're talking about. What we're talking about, everybody, in case you didn't hear it. Leonard's trying to figure out what the strategy is for the Black community in terms of what do we do next?
Because they keep saying it's in secret.
Right. Well, I don't think nobody said it's in secret. I said that.
No.
Myself and what's your friend named Bruce?
Bruce, yes. Yeah,
Bruce
you gotta do this.
collectively, um, well, let's say this. I feel that we don't need to be out there advertising, because every time we advertise what we're going to do, what we're doing, they come up with some nonsense to diminish what we're doing. And we share too much anyway on social media. Too much of what we're going. Everybody's trying to do things on social media for clout, and I don't know if that's what we're doing. If you and I are doing the same thing, I'm not sure. I don't know. But coming up with, and you also, one other thing too that I'm sort of, that goes along with this, you have people coming on social media talking about shit that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And that irks the hell out of me. That really does. That bothers me. Like I saw something the other day where somebody was talking about, this woman was talking about how Harriet Tubman didn't really exist, because her real name was not Harriet Tubman. I can't remember what her real name was, but she changed it. She used her eventually she changed it to Harriet Tubman. She used her grandmother's first name, and when she got married, she married to Mr. Tubman, so she became Harriet Tubman. And this person saying because of that, Harriet Tubman didn't exist. We always thought that this was that Harriet Tubman was a real person. She wasn't a real person. There was no underground railroad. It didn't exist, because they always thought that the Underground Railroad was actually a railroad underground and all that, like a subway or something that went from state to state and all that stuff. So you have people out there putting information out there, and they have no idea what they're talking about. Now, another part of it that goes along with it too is when we talk about where are the leaders?
You went out on me.
And I've said this before, and I'm going to continue to say this.
You going in and out, brother.
We're always looking.
We can't even hear what you're saying. Let's see.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know what is going on. I have too many people coming on giving out false information, just no idea what they're talking about. And we have this Messiah complex in our community that we need somebody to tell us what to do. It ain't rocket science. That ain't rocket science. Streets. We did that. We told y'all what was going to happen. Now it's y'all turn to go out there and march in the streets. I agree with that. We don't need to do that. There's other things that we can do, and things that we have done that are effective. The boycott against Target. That has decreased that bottom line. It's crazy how effective that boycott has been. And it wasn't, and again, you said people called for it and all that. Yeah, they did. But it's not like a seriously organized type thing. Hey, let's boycott
Target. I would beg to differ with you on that one. I thought it was.
That's what I can't. That's what I'm saying, Harry. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you. We can hear you right now. It's just going in and out. I would beg to differ with you about the boycott of Target. I think Jamal Bryant has done a fairly effective job of getting it out in the open to say, I need at least 100,000 people doing this, at least. And because I'm on the email list. And from those 100,000 people, if you just can get one to join, you're at 200,000, and then you know exponentially spreads. But it's not done in secret.
Right. I didn't say. Well, well, let's say this. I don't think it should be a. I mean, when I say we don't need to advertise what we're going to do, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to express what I'm thinking, but I don't think that we need to. And I've said this before. Do what you can. It doesn't have to be something where somebody directs us on what to do next. And that's the problem. We want somebody to direct us. Now, somebody just says, all right, go boycott Target. Okay, cool. We do that. But you can do other things. If Target is, like you said with your the Walmart situation, because it's the only grocery store in your neighborhood, close to your neighborhood. So Walmart needs to stay there. We can't really boycott. But some of us can boycott Walmart to the point where they feel it. And I think one of the other things, not using Amazon as much. Just little things that we can do that can be effective. Now, the mainstream media, or I can't stand that phrase. The media may not recognize this as a collective boycott, but to us it is. It's just little bit pockets, little bit. Like that old adage that says, "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time." One bite at a time. One little thing at a time. Do something every day. And that's something that will that can be effective. Just as effective if we have a call to action. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I think I'm trying to be my normal blunt self. I think that's a pie in the sky approach, because how do you know it's effective? Like, we know the Target thing was effective because the CEO of Target asked for a meeting with, first he asked for a meeting with Al Sharpton, which created a whole nother problem, which was interesting. And then Reverend Jamal Bryant said, you got to meet with me because I'm the one that's been leading this. I'm the face of this boycott. I'm the one that's organized it, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't until their stock started sinking from a group perspective, that he was willing to meet. So again, my question is, I'm sorry, man. Look, I'm sorry. I just don't buy that. I don't buy that this strategy has worked out. I think that we need to start having an honest conversation about what we're willing to do and what we aren't willing to do. And
so, okay, this is the thing, though.
Go ahead.
What will you have us do? And that's another thing. People are saying we need to do something. What? What can we do? Because we know. Let's keep this real. They don't give a shit about marching. They don't care about marching. I
agree. I agree with that.
So the other tools that we have in our toolbox are voting, which we can't do. Well, I mean, unless there's a special election. The serious thing that the next big election thing that we'll be going through is in 2026. So that's going to take time. And economic boycott. Those are the two big ones we have in our toolbox.
And we absolutely
those are good morning, Stacey. Those are the most effective ones. So if we have that in there, we have to wait on the election thing, the economic boycott. Even if we do, you do your part. Just do your part.
Yeah, but Kenneth,
it doesn't have to be a serious collective thing. And you're talking about, like I said this earlier, you're talking about when they have discussions and they have a seat at the table. We won't have a seat at the table. There is no fucking table, man. There ain't no table.
Are you saying there's no table? We don't have a seat. There is a table.
Ain't nobody having no discussion. Where do you see those racists that are running this country right now are having discussions with anybody and sitting at the table with anybody and having discussions?
Yes.
Where do you see that?
Where the papers in the truck. Where? Okay, let me ask that question.
Who are they having discussions with? Who? Who are they negotiating with?
APAC. We're gonna talk about that later.
Oh man, no, they ain't negotiating with them. There's no negotiations, man. There's no negotiations. They're listening to APAC for the most part for a little bit. Really and truly, it's just Stephen Miller.
You asked me for what I think, and I'm gonna tell you what I think. There is a table. It's that we've been pushed away from the table. As long as there are policy positions that are being made, and the only thing you have right now, you and I agree on this. I don't think marching by itself is effective. I think economics is very, very effective. I think Target has proven that. I think you better find another way to be loud and boisterous. Whether it's you're gonna have way more podcasts, you're gonna try to get a foothold into this social media infrastructure to get your word out, because there's a lot of misinformation. There's a whole bunch of black people, particularly black men, saying a whole bunch of misinformation. Now, and they have us turning against each other. And I've always said this, you and I totally agreed on this. This is what I always thought about the Montgomery boat situation. And I've said this to you before. The reason it resonated with so many people in our community, the reason it resonated was because the community felt like we got to win. They felt like it was the most consequential, in my opinion, in the last 20 years of an example of African Americans who did not know each other coming together in this one small 5-minute video and saying enough is enough. It was a collective sigh of relief, and it was a win. And you use that to say, where else can I get a win that goes viral? Where else? I think the other win that they did not, and I believe I believe this is conspiracy. I believe this because I believe what Roland says, that even up in right below Cleveland, you and I talked about this, when those white supremacists decided they were going to come and go on that bridge in that black neighborhood, they purposely throttled all of those videos that went out with those brothers saying, y'all not going to be on this bridge, not in this community, not in the oldest black community above this the Mason-Dixon line. Y'all not coming over here to terrorize anybody. And they ran them out. That's a collective win. That's a win to say, you know, it's how about this? Here's the best example I can give. When I was in high school, I thought, and I'm gonna question you if you thought, because you know Black history wasn't taught as much, and I don't think my parents taught some. I thought Nat Turner was the only rebellion.
Yeah,
I literally thought Nat Turner was the only rebellion. I had no idea that there was rebellion way closer to me and you in South Carolina, right up the street from where we were born and raised, which was Denmark Vesey, which would have been way bigger than Nat Turner. And you purposely suppress it because you don't want to give other people hope. So I think that you have to have.
If you want to go into it even deeper than that, they didn't want the
thank you, Stacey, Cincinnati,
black people in America to know about what happened in Haiti. That the Haitians got their
absolutely good.
That was a big thing.
That was right. That was the father of it all, really. Basically, the Haiti, Toussaint led it to all other islands, and it got to the southern United States. What happened? So my point being, without us going on this big tangent, when it comes to, because the question was, Stacey, the question was, for me, what I'm asking as somebody who's saying, hey, I don't see that working. What y'all talking? And this is a friend of ours named Bruce that's on here. He's a big proponent of this. We need to strategize in secret. And I'm going, well, how the hell do I know you're strategizing? Like, show me where it's working. Because for me, it's like, okay, look, me and Kenneth talked about this earlier. You know, Kenneth said, Leonard, what do you think the ultimate goal is? I said, it seems to me the ultimate goal is they're trying to get to the 14th Amendment. You know, and I mean, they haven't been silent about it. They're trying to get naturalized citizenship. And then they can come back and say, we're going to go after them too.
No, that's not naturalized is different. From that. Naturalized is when you move here and you become a citizen. Natural born is what the 14th Amendment says.
Okay,
that's
so
anybody born in the United States.
Which one are they going after?
Natural born.
So are they saying that if you are born to a naturalized citizen, we want to take it?
No. Natural born is if you were born in the United States, you are.
Oh, I get that. I get that.
That's natural born.
I'm asking you, is Russ Velton them saying, I wish Mary was on here because he could tell us, saying, yeah, but we're saying if you were born to a naturalized citizen, then
no, it has nothing to do with natural. It has nothing to do with a naturalized citizen.
I agree. I agree with
anything. No, anything. Anybody born in the United States,
birthright.
Yeah, birthright. Anybody born in the United States is a United States citizen. And what they're trying to do is, you're saying that they're trying to use that to somehow get rid of black people, or saying black people aren't citizens.
I'm saying that birthright. Go ahead.
Okay, right.
And that
But they're
birthright.
doing that for us. They don't give a shit about us.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
No, you got to listen, because what they're trying to do. One of the reasons why they're trying to get.
Why don't you think they give a fuck about us? Wait. Answer that. Why don't you? Okay, let me say this. Let me hit that before you go. I'll keep you.
You know what? Let me tell you something funny.
Go ahead,
I looked at the screen and I saw my thumb. I was like, who the hell is that standing behind me? I didn't realize that was my thumb. Who the hell is that standing behind me?
Let me say this to you. You and I may just have a fundamental difference with this. Let me say this to you. I think they're terrified of the African American community. And this is why I think they're terrified. I think Nicole Hannah-Jones says it better than anybody. They terrified because as you brought us across the water, you damn near created a whole nother subspecies of humans. And these subspecies of humans that you created, that has been passed down through the DNA and now 400 years of slavery, have created this group of humans who won't stop coming. And that African Americans, I don't give a damn what anybody says. People can get offended as much as they want. The African Americans that landed on these shores, the continental United States, have become the most consequential group of Africans out of the diaspora in history. Everything that we touch when we get together moves mountains. I've been saying this forever.
But see, that's
wait. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I disagree with your statement. When you look at it from that point of view, you know that if that group of people, every time they get behind something, through thick and thin, help, what they say about the Postal Service, you're going to deliver through rain, sleet, or snow. Every time our people have got behind something, it's changed. You have to be concerned with us. That's why people are saying out there right now, you hear this on social media, where are the African Americans who said they're sitting out? You have to be concerned. So you and I just disagree about what they care about us about. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now I'm going to shut up and listen.
So what I'm saying is, the reason why I say that, they don't care about how we're here. They know we're here. We're not going nowhere. What they're worried about is an increase in especially Latino community, and the Latino community finding a voice and standing as one. That's what they're afraid of, because even though the ones who are older Latino community, especially the ones from Cuba and especially ones from Cuba, and some of the other ones who are some of the ones generations who've been here from Latin America, Central and Latin America, who've been here for generations, they're more conservative. The ones that are coming in now, the birthright, the ones that are born here or grew up here, this younger generation, they're not falling for the bullshit that Republicans are coming up with. They're afraid that this new generation of Latinos that are coming here or grew up here or were born here, they're going to be Democrats, and they're going to have a voice, and that voice is going to be very loud, and they're going to change things. They, as people said, one of the things they're talking about, I've been hearing this for years, and I never really gave it a thought until I looked at the population. You have more people of color moving here than there are people of European descent being born here, which is one reason why some people are against abortion, because more white women are having abortions than black women or women of color. Let's be real. Simple numbers. There more of them are having. So if they're having abortions, that means the birth rate of Europeans, white people in this country is decreasing. The birth rate of people of color is increasing. So they're worried about this being a minority majority country. That's the real thing. So they're not worried about us. They're worrying about Latinos that are coming in. That's who they're worried about. Why do you think they're going after them? To their own detriment. I mean, think about it. They're sitting there going after these people. They're going after these people who are that we basically, in our economy, we need these people. It's destroying our economy. The price of everything that, they keep talking about the price of stuff going up because of tariffs. They keep forgetting the price of food is going up because we don't have anybody to pick the food. We don't have that. The price of getting your house or getting a roof put on your house is going up, not just because of the price of the tariff on wood, but also the fact that they don't have workers. So they have to pay the workers more money that they do have that are here that are citizens. Pay them more money, or pay the ones who are not citizens, pay them more money, because they're worried about whether or not ICE is going to come raid the work site in certain places.
Kenneth,
so the price of that is going up. There's a labor shortage in those areas. In low skill areas, there's a labor shortage. That's to their detriment.
We're off on a tangent, but I want to ask a question as you have been a history teacher. What social movement in America, in the history of America, what social movement has ever been led by the Hispanic diaspora? Cesar Chavez had to attach his migrant workers' rights movement. He had to literally call Martin Luther King and say, "Can I attach this movement to your movement?"
But
we are
Leonard,
not.
But see,
I mean, help me.
This is different times, man. We can use history to guide us as examples and all that. But at some point, you got the history. It doesn't apply. And let's look at this.
When?
For example. But hold on. Listen to this. In the United States, have we ever had a president to do the shit that Donald Trump is doing? Have we ever had it by now?
No.
Is there anything in our history to point to his him being able to do any of this? Because a lot of the stuff that he's doing is totally against what the Constitution says. Totally against.
But wait.
How can we look at history? Now, how can we look at U.S. history to guide us on what to do next? Because we've never been here before. Now, I will say this. History, in terms of looking at the history of fascism in the world, he's using that playbook. But in our country, the way our Constitution is written, the way things are designed, the way it was purposely designed, he's going totally opposite of that. We don't have any history of dealing with that. That's why people don't know how to respond. Everybody can say, what are the Democrats do? They don't know what to do because they've never done this. This has never happened before. Nobody ever saw this, anticipated that we would have a president that would do the shit that this man is doing.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna push back.
So we can't look to history for that.
I'm gonna push back on that. Because I don't want us to go so far off the tangent, and now we're talking about fascism. But I will address this. If you're saying that we haven't, this is not the first time this has happened.
When did this happen before?
It happened in North Dakota. Rachel Maddow has a whole podcast about it. A whole podcast just about this. Just about this ain't the first time this has happened. He just didn't make it to the top. He almost got to the top, but he didn't make it.
Well, I'm talking about the President of the United States.
Kenneth, let me finish. You have a playbook because, like I said, again, we're off on a tangent of talking about what I thought we were doing with the community to has history given us a lesson to my point, which was our disagreement in that you don't think they're worried about us when I think, no, they ultimately are worried about us. If they weren't so worried about us, they wouldn't be trying to do what they're doing to us, which is constantly trying to suppress our votes, constantly trying to suppress our rights, constantly trying to dismantle, which is the ultimate thing, the infrastructure that the 1964 Civil Rights Bill put into place, which was led by 98% of African Americans, which is the most consequential bill other than the New Deal in the history of the country. And if you can stymie them, and you can stymie and frustrate them and get disinformation, you can win almost any battle. So we just have a disagreement. And I'm not saying they're not worried about Hispanic folks. I'm just saying they aren't worried about them to the degree that you're saying, because they've never led anything that has had a consequential, game-changing thing that African Americans have done.
But the point I'm trying to make is,
Go ahead.
We keep looking toward what we've done in the past to guide what we're doing now. There is nothing in American past to compare to this. Nothing. Nowhere. That's never happened.
Okay. So let's just say we agree to disagree. I can live with it.
But okay, what Harry was saying about Andrew Jackson. He tried to treat himself, fancy himself to be the king, and Congress shut him down.
But you got to understand, you know this, but you should know this better than that. Andrew Jackson came from a different class of people. That's number one. Andrew Jackson grew up very, very poor.
Right.
He was very, very poor. He was a self-educated, because when you became a lawyer back then, it was a different way to become an attorney. And Andrew Jackson explicitly said when he got inaugurated, you go back and look at this up, y'all had y'all turn to do what you did with the country. Now it's our turn. And he brought in a lot of people, just like Trump did, that thought the way he thought. The Native Americans were just a way for him to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish, which was he was going to take the elite, quote unquote elite, and he was going to put them in their place. Was he racist as hell? Absolutely. But Andrew Jackson had a totally different agenda, because he thought poor people.
Who stopped him?
Shoot, it wasn't the SCOTUS, because what Andrew Jackson said about SCOTUS. Andrew Jackson, but no doubt about it.
So it was Congress. In this day and time, there is no. Basically, Trump has control of the three branches of government. Let's be real. He has control of three branches of government. Total control. That's never happened before. Now, there have been times where, you had a conservative court, and it was run by conservative. Congress was run by conservatives or racists or whatever, and the president was saying that's happened. But the guardrails were always there. When the Supreme Court ruled that this fool could do whatever the hell he wanted to do, commit any crime as long as they were in office, and as long as they could articulate that it was in the the best interest of the country, or it was in the duties as it was it was underneath the duties as president of the United States, he can get away with it. When they ruled that changed the game. That changed everything. So the guardrails have been removed.
Kenneth, you know what? One thing y'all don't want to say, I'll say it. I've been saying it. I said the minute they that ruling. That ruling means nothing if you don't have a person that's willing to take advantage of it.
I'm gonna say this, and that's one of the things that will always piss me off about Joe Biden. Me and Marion have talked about this ad nauseum. I said in June when that ruling came out, if I'm Joe Biden, I'm gonna show the country what that looks like. I'm gonna show the country what that looks like. If this is what y'all want to do, it's gonna be me that shows the country what it's look like, because I trust me and what my moral morality is before I'll trust him or anybody else. I'm gonna be brutal. I'm gonna arrest every Supreme Court justice that put that in play. I'm going to arrest Mitch McConnell. I'm gonna show you what dictatorship truly looks like. And I'm gonna sit your ass in jail and in a dark, deep prison. And I'm gonna say, until you're willing to come out and say, we will never give a president this type of power, you will sit in jail. So when you come out and I let you out for these unlawful arrests, because they're no longer unlawful, because I can say they're part of my official duties, my official acts, until you come out making a constitutional amendment that no president will have this power that I just took ever again, because I'm gonna pardon myself in the end to teach you a lesson. That's Joe Biden's fault. That's his people's fault, because y'all didn't have the imagination to do the unthinkable. So you're making us go through the unthinkable. I've always believed that. You're making us go to unthinkable because he was too weak and his people were too weak. They say it's morality. No, sometimes you got to show people, in order to show people what you're not, you got to do something to show do something that you wouldn't to show who you really are. They put us in this position. That's why when old girl came, this is this tangent, old girl came by with her book last week. I don't want to hear shit Jean Pierre has to say. Not a goddamn thing. I don't want to hear that you're independent. I don't want to hear nothing that you got to say, because you became a part of the problem the minute you said that you didn't come out and tell us that this man has shown cognitive decline 24 months into his term.
Who gives a shit?
I give a shit.
Well, you know what?
Whoa.
That's the thing. We're relitigating something that's irrelevant. Whether or not he had cognitive decline, we are. Whether or not Joe Biden was declining.
We're talking about the context of our conversation.
But in the context, in the grand scheme of life, it does not make a difference, because the shit that he did was truly effective. If he had some cognitive decline, which he probably did, I'm sure he did, but he was effective. He did some good shit. That's the only thing that counts. I don't give a shit if the man when he was off camera, he was drooling from the mouth and couldn't remember his damn name. But when he was on camera, when the policies that he did, that his administration put forth, that he signed into law, that shit was good. That's all that counts.
I think you're being contradictory right now, to be honest with you. Stop. I think you're being contradictory, because you're saying who gives a shit about what happened in the past. We're not going to relitigate the past. You just brought up the past.
No, what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is, in the grand scheme of life, the stuff that he did was good. He had a good presidency. His administration did a lot. We just don't want. We're sitting here trying to go back, because we always want to look back and blame this and that, blame this person and that person for why this happened and all that. If we want to look at blame, and people want to use it as an excuse as to why Trump is president, that ain't got shit to do with it. Trump is president because, hold on.
Go ahead.
Trump is president because people didn't get out to vote. Period. It's just that damn simple. Ain't got nothing to do with Biden. It has nothing to do with Biden. If Biden had gotten out earlier and all that, these same motherfuckers who didn't vote, who were saying, well, he should have gotten out earlier, that would have given her time. No, these same motherfuckers still wouldn't have voted. These sorry bastards wouldn't have voted. No, because one, she was black, and one, she was a she. They wouldn't have voted. So I don't hear that bull. I don't hear no more bullshit about what Joe Biden should have, could have, would have done.
So your absolute position is that you should not have to give people a reason to vote. That's your position.
People were given reasons to vote. Leonard, what else? We have been saying it. We have been saying this for years. All the shit that Trump did, and when he decided to run, all the shit he did, we brought up all the shit that he did, all the shit, the potential shit that he was saying. They gave people reasons to vote. Motherfuckers didn't vote.
Okay.
That's real. Motherfuckers didn't vote.
Let's go with that line of reasoning.
Let's keep it real with that shit.
Let's go with that line of reasoning. Let's go with that line of reasoning because you're wedded to it. Let's go with that line of reasoning.
I'm 2 years into this wedding.
Wait. I just said that. Hey, let's go with that line of reasoning. Now, how do you, knowing that you have to convince these people to vote, how do you get them to vote? Because we're all off topic.
Okay.
How do you get them to vote?
How do we get these people to vote? If what's going on now doesn't motivate you to get out and vote the next time, nothing will. I'm telling you, I'm being
real. So we stuck.
About this shit, man.
So we stuck.
If all the bullshit that is going on in this, so what?
So we're stuck.
I think this. All the stuff, all the people that he has burned since he's been in office, even his supporters that he's burned since he's been in office. If that is not giving you a reason, and he's term limited anyway, so it really doesn't make a fucking difference. He can't run for office again. They're not going to rewrite the Constitution, add an amendment in there. They can't get an amendment passed to say that he should have a third term. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They're not going to suspend the Constitution. All of that doomsday shit, they're going to suspend the Constitution. Nah, that's just not going to happen. He's going to leave office in 3 years, 3.5 years, and we're going to have somebody totally different in office. There will be no more, we should have stopped him this time. We didn't. We're suffering from it. And anybody who comes up behind him and comes up with that same craziness that he's doing is not going to get the same following. People are going to vote.
Help me understand this, just on a basic level. You keep saying this is not going to happen. You've said that now 5 times. This is not going to happen. And
I said it about that. They're not going to suspend the Constitution. They're not going to get a new amendment, overturn that amendment.
Say the sky's never going to turn green. However you want to say. They're not going to turn the sky green. However you want to say. I'm getting outrageous here. They keep doing outrageous stuff that y'all said they weren't going to do. I don't understand this.
Because the reason. Okay, do you understand what it takes to get an amendment to a constitution?
Yeah, I thought I understood what it took to get rid of the Department of Education.
What does it make? What does it take?
I thought I understood. Wait, I thought I understood what it took to overturn the 1973 Roe versus Wade. I thought I understood that they would never give the president unlimited.
But that was all that took was. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Okay, I'm not going to let you get away with this. We can end this with one thing. One thing. To overturn, to add an amendment to the Constitution, you need to have 67% of the states of the United States vote in favor of it.
I agree.
67% of the Senate. 67% of the House. You're not going to get that. 67% is an impossibility.
Okay,
there are not 67 Republican senators in the United States Senate.
Let me ask you this. And this is the same question. I really want you to answer this sincerely. Tell me what, before January, you thought they weren't going to do. They couldn't do. I'm being sincere. That's done that you thought, man, I didn't think they could get that done.
I said, you know what?
Is there anything?
Okay.
You're not answering the question.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I do know one thing I do know is this. 67. There are not 67 Republican senators in the United States Senate. You can't do without that. That's how.
I agree.
So the only thing you're gonna do, the only reason,
I agree.
Going back to the Constitution itself. So if you want to rewrite the Constitution, you're going to have 67 senators vote to scrap the current Constitution.
Yeah, plus the states, right?
Plus the states, plus 67% of the House of Representatives.
You do hear me saying I agree with you, right?
Right. So if you can't do that,
but let me throw something.
If you can't do that, you're not going to get. He's not going to get a third term.
Let me. I don't think. Let me tell you why I don't think he's going to get a third term. I heard him say 2 months ago that he wasn't interested. I heard him literally say, "I ain't doing that no more." But let me ask you this: when we said, my point to you, and I think what Harriet is saying, my point to you is, at what stage of the game are we going to say, stop saying they can't? Did you really believe that Pete Hegseth was going to be voted in by Joni Ernst and Susan Collins, 2 women? Yeah. You believe that? I didn't.
Yeah.
You thought Joni Ernst, a former female officer, was going to throw all female officers?
Yes. Because she talked a good game. Joni Ernst talks a damn good game, but she don't do shit. Every time something comes up, and they always talk about Susan Collins and Joni Ernst. Oh, they won't go for that because they're moderate Republicans. Them 2 women fall right in line with the rest of them every single damn time. So thinking that they're not going to vote for him because she's a former military officer. She don't give a shit about that.
So I'm amazed. You know, you better than me because I'm amazed. So you believed and foresaw that the Congress would you believe and foresaw that the Congress, all those Republican congressmen, would give up the ability to have oversight on an unelected official to decimate the government.
Donald Trump said it, yes.
But you
Donald Trump wanted, yes. I didn't foresee it because we didn't even think that anything like that they would even try anything like that.
Isn't that my point?
Because we did not. That's my point. We didn't see it coming because we didn't think that anybody would ever come up with an agency to get rid of this and that. And all. We never saw it because nobody's ever tried that. He's doing things, but you see, you're trying to
proving my point.
But the point, no, you're not. But the point I'm trying to make is whether or not we saw it or not, I saw it coming or not. It happened. It's done. We can't do anything about it until the election next year.
That's my point, Kenneth. My point is,
and he's not running anyway, so it really doesn't make a difference.
My point, yes, that's not true. My point is, damn, we had 10:52, and I ain't get to talk about what we want to talk about. So I don't want to tell you about that. I saw. My point is that we need to change our mindset and stop saying, particularly in our community, this won't happen, and preparing as if anything can happen, and start preparing that the worst could happen. And we need to start saying, and this is where me and Bruce disagree, we need to start saying, we seem to have this cognitive dissonance that it's not coming to your doorstep, is not going to affect you on an everyday level. That by somebody, not you. And I don't
think Bruce is saying that.
Bullshit. You can't have it both ways. You can't say I'm gonna sit back as an army's coming over the hill. You're in the military, army coming over the hill, and you have a semi-army on the other side of this army coming over the hill. We're the semi-army. We aren't as well weaponized, we aren't as well organized, but we see them coming over the hill. We see them coming for whatever little bit of resources and rights that we have. We see them coming. We see them coming. We know they're coming. And then say, but I'm going to sit back and sit this one out as if they won't run us over. That's my point. That's my only point.
That's what I'm not saying.
I don't understand how y'all, and that's what I've been telling you. I mean,
well, he didn't say, okay.
At what point do you pick up arms and fight?
He didn't say we're going to sit back and just let us overrun. He said we just ain't going to be in the front taking the hit.
It don't matter whether you're the front or the back. It don't matter whether you're in the front or the back. Eventually, the front line is going to get to you. It don't matter if you're in the front.
Let them go out there and march. Let them go out there and march. We'll sit back and we'll do things in a different manner. Because we've done that.
I'm really trying. Wait. Your way. Wait. We're gonna stop this bullshit right now to you and Bruce. Your way hasn't proven to work. The people in the
and not your fucking way either. Your way hasn't worked. What exactly? Okay, answer this for me.
Wait.
What have they accomplished? What have they accomplished?
I'm going to tell you. You know better than me. They accomplished the most.
Don't bring up history.
No.
I'm talking about now. No. What's going on now? What did they accomplish?
You got to start up and listen. You got to at some point start up and listen. The 1964 Civil Rights Act is a living, breathing amendment. Every right that you have up to this point is started from that. Everything is an addition, a stream, whatever you want, a branch of that. It's living, it's breathing. It goes on. Every right that women have, LGBT have, Black people have, Hispanics have, everything starts from that one document, period. It didn't just happen and stop. It happened and it kept growing. Every right started from that right. Every right. They were wrong, you were wrong. They were right, you were wrong. Every right. All those people who you're talking about were brilliant people. They understood that if you get this in place, everything builds on this thing.
Okay, but what does that have to do with us standing up now?
What are you talking about? If you don't stand up,
no, we did. Hold on, we did all the hard work, all the lead work. What is going? I'm talking about now. What are we doing now that we need to participate in? You're going back in history. Tell me now.
No, you're not listening.
I am listening. You still keep going back.
How can you listen and you talking?
I'm talking about now.
Okay, I'm telling you. Every right that's going on right now, every social right, every civil right.
Leonard, you said that 5 times.
What are they doing? So you want specifics?
Yes.
Okay.
That we specifics that they're doing that they can't do without us.
I'll give you specifics. What the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ has been gutted.
We know that.
Okay, why has it been gutted?
It's been gutted because the Civil Rights Division is the one that holds companies and the government accountable when they do something violate somebody's civil rights. I understand that.
Okay, and so why do you gut it? Because you don't want the federal government to have the weight to go in and to say for somebody like you and I, which we didn't have before, I am being discriminated against. Here is the evidence. It's a constant. It is a constant. You can't say it's in the past.
Okay.
The problem I have.
I understand what you're saying. But what exactly? Okay, that's one specific thing.
That's one. You asked for one.
If we were participating, if we were out there being vocal about it, would that change the fact that they're still decimating the civil rights division?
Absolutely.
How?
Absolutely.
How?
Because when you stand back and you just take it and you show there's no resistance to it.
No. We're not the only ones being affected by this.
You asking me how, Kenneth? Let me answer the question.
We're not the only one. Everybody's being affected. Everybody's being affected by this. Not just us.
No,
everybody's being affected by this.
I didn't deny that, though. I didn't deny that.
So if they're standing up and they're trying to fighting it and nothing has changed, how will us join in this fight?
What do you mean nothing? Wait. Something has changed. That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. Over 72 judges have stood up and said, because people are saying, hey, man, we don't want those rights taken away. Over 72 judges have issued injunctions. There's 72 injunctions right now.
True.
They have to filter their way. Huh?
They still did it, right? I said
no, they didn't. They stopped. Let me tell you how you know it worked. You got it for all of y'all that don't know. Last night, they brought back the face of the Venezuelan San Salvador prison. They brought him back last night.
That's due process.
They brought, wait. They had gutted due process. They had said for the last 3 months that he will never come back.
But that's not the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department.
Kenneth, you got it, bro. You can't have it both ways.
I ain't trying to have it both ways. You're talking about apples and oranges.
No, I'm not.
The Civil Rights due process has nothing to do with the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Let me know when you want to listen to my explanation. Because I don't want to talk about
listen, Leonard, you going around the mulberry bush to go to your point, get to your point.
No, I'm not. You just don't like how I'm getting to my point.
No, you going around the mulberry bush.
And you can't talk about nobody going around the mulberry bush now. Come on.
You going around the mulberry bush.
I get this from you.
You taking the extended non-GPS route to get to where you going. Get the GPS route, the shortest route. Right. Let's go with that one.
Right. You can't throw no glass stone. You can't throw no stones. At the end of the day, that is a living, breathing document.
The Constitution is a living, breathing document. The Civil Rights Act is just an act.
It's an amendment. It's
not an amendment. No, it's not law. No. It's not law. No, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is not an amendment to the Constitution.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll accept that.
It is not an amendment to the Constitution.
Hold on. 1904 Civil Rights Act. What did it do?
But it's not an amendment. Okay. And it can be rescinded at any time by Congress.
It was a landmark piece of legislation that prohibited discrimination.
Right.
So it's law.
It's law, but it can be rescinded at any time.
Okay.
An amendment cannot be rescinded.
Wait a minute. Stacey said, yes, it does, Kenneth. What does she mean? Yes, it does what?
Whatever she was talking about with you, she was agreeing with you. Whatever it was you said, she agreed with. I'm not exactly sure.
Stacey, you heard? You said, I want Stacey to know. Did you hear how that derision in his voice?
No, she said, hold on. She was talking. She said, yes, it does. And whatever you said, she agreed with you on.
Stacey, did you?
I just don't know what point she was agreeing with.
Stacey, you hear that derision in his voice when you said she agreed with you.
The point I'm trying to make is the 1964 Civil Rights Act is a law that can be rescinded by Congress at any point. And matter of fact, it can be overturned by the Supreme Court at any point, especially this one. So it's not a thing of where that it can't be.
There you go going off on a tangent.
I ain't going on no tangent.
I'm about to tell you how. Be quiet. You asked me for specific examples. I'm giving you a specific examples of why you shouldn't be out doing what you're supposed to do, that our parents gave us, and that you and I, who are the first beneficiaries of this, we are literally the first beneficiaries. You and I, stop, don't you do it. Hold your tongue for a minute. Because we passed 1102, and I didn't get to ask you about the one crazy thing that I wanted to ask you about, because I want you to go and see it. And I want to do that for at least 5 minutes. You asked me for specific examples. I start giving you specific examples of how, if you don't get out there and stop them. My little brother says this all the time. Now, sometimes the strategy has to be to hold ground. It can't be to gain ground. It has to be to hold the ground that you gained. And what they're doing right now, and I don't know if Harry and Stacey agree with this, is they are taking ground that you gained. And you're sitting back letting them take it because you are under the delusion that if you
what can we do? Okay, if African Americans stood up and said, "No, we ain't gonna have this," what exactly would we do?
What exactly? How about this? Good question. Let me see if I can answer it for you. Let me see if I can give you an answer with an example. With an
around the mulberry bush again.
No. I can't because I can't do generalities. If you ever notice about me, I'm gonna ask you always, what does that look like? Because if we don't, we'll be in the generality.
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to give you an example, not just be general. I could go, and now we're in the mulberry bush because you threw me in the mulberry bush. If you'll be quiet and let me get to the point, I'll get to the point, and then I can get to what I want to talk about before I got to get off of here. When you don't stand up and say enough is enough, you get what happened a week and a half ago right now in Georgia, which I'm surprised I know you don't know about because you're no longer in law enforcement. What the General Assembly did the other day, last Thursday, because Brian called me and said, you know this is happening? They just damn near gave police officers full immunity for any act that is anything other than a felony. So in other words, they can commit misdemeanors out in the open because they're government officials. This is the legislature just passed this, and people like Brian cannot go after them for. You tell me what it is your violation of oath, violation of oath,
oath of office.
Yeah, your oath of office. He can't go after you now. So basically, as I was telling him, because I come up with very strange examples. I go, what does that mean? Because, of course, I don't know what it means. And he's like, look, bottom line is a police officer can walk into a convenience store right now. And a police officer can walk in and he could just take candy and take stuff out of a convenience store. As long as he doesn't he can go up to $1,499. Obvious violation of his oath. He said, but I can't charge him. He said, I cannot go after him. He literally can do it. I said, well, let's make a difference. I said, what if he punches me in my face? He said, it is a misdemeanor as long as you don't show a bruise. I'm like, what? He said, yes, it is a misdemeanor. And because we don't have the elected representatives to get out and tell people this is what's happening, and to be loud and to say, you cannot do this, we will come after you and get you. That's what I mean when I say standing up. That's what I mean when I say loud and proud. And
this
go ahead. Go ahead. Sure, go for it.
In reference to that you use an example. You can have an organization can sue to have that law overturned, because basically what they're doing is saying a police officer can commit crimes, and that there's no repercussions from it. That is unconstitutional. Period. They can challenge that in the court system, and the state will lose that. They will lose that because, and it probably go all the way to the Supreme Court, but they will lose up to every level. Supreme Court is hit or miss. It's hit or miss.
We hope
they will lose at every level because of that.
I'm out of hope. So let me ask this. Then we got to go. You did go online for you all and pull up the Democratic primary debate and the New York mayors, and pull up the question. This was a question for the new Democratic Party, the New York mayors. The question was, if you're elected mayor, where's the first visit you're going to go? The female Black candidate started it by saying, the first visit I'm going to take is to the Holy Land of Israel. All the other candidates chimed in and said, me too, except for the East Indian descent, raised in Uganda candidate, Jomandi, I think that's his name, who said, I'm going to go visit all the boroughs first. I'm in New York. I'm going to go visit the boroughs and all the people of the boroughs in New York first, because that's where I represented. They then start hitting him with questions. It is so outrageous. So do you think that the state of Israel has a right to exist? That was the next question. It's like, what? He said, I think any lawful state with rights has a right to exist. And I think Israel has the right to exist. Do you believe in the Jewish state? Those were the questions. The other candidates, including Cuomo, start piling on him. It was so outrageous that I was like, this is nuts. You got to see it to believe it. And he's like, I just answered the question. So what you're saying is that if I don't pledge my loyalty to the state of Israel, and I get his politics, there's a lot of Jewish people. And he said, no, I think Jewish people in New York City, my job is to protect Jewish people in New York City. I'm the mayor of New York. I'm not going to be the mayor of anything else, just the mayor of New York. How is this even a question for us? And they start piling on. Man, it was just so unbelievable. I posted it. You got to watch it. I posted it because it was just so crazy where we are. But anyway, we're at 11:09. You finish it up. I'm going to shut up.
Well, I had one thing that I wanted to talk about because you took up the whole oxygen out the room.
Go ahead.
I just saw it this morning, actually, right before we went on air, and I thought it was crazy. So Trump appointed to be deputy director of the Bureau of Prisons a guy that he pardoned in his first term, a guy who had been convicted for drug trafficking, and he appointed him to be deputy director of the Bureau of Prisons. And I know somebody, a friend of mine, she's retired now, works for the Bureau of Prisons. And she was like, everybody's upset. Everybody's outraged behind this. So you have a convicted felon who was a federal prisoner now being nominated to be the deputy director of the Bureau of Prisons because he started some program once he got out to help former prisoners or something like that. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Passing up all those people who've been in the Bureau of Prisons for years, who've been working there, worked their way up through the system, never got any trouble, did everything they were supposed to do, passed them up for a dude who's a former drug dealer.
Because I got a question. I'm about to throw some shade your way. I just want you to know. This is you prepare yourself. So before you woke up this morning and saw that, did you believe that could happen?
Didn't think about it. Did you think it could happen? I mean, well, let's say this. Considering the people that he's appointed to other positions, this is not that far out of the realm of possibility. I
agree. I believe that's my point. I'm at a point, and I'm saying to myself, I got 3 more years of this. I got 3 more years of this damage. I better get out and I better say, let me try to slow down this damage some kind of way, because that damage is coming from me and my community. More black women have been fired out of the federal workforce than anybody. And Kenneth, I saw a black guy. You know how we got these bros that think they know relationships and they obviously hate black women. Literally was on, and it's a comedian. I follow this comedian, Baldhead Phillips. See, a lot of stuff he has on that's funny, but this one just blew me away. He had this guy on there going, "No, I don't have no sympathy for none of y'all," talking to the black women, because he said black women being fired out of the federal government, of which more have been fired out of federal government than any other group, was a consequence of black women not listening to black men. So he ain't had no sympathy for them. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's what you.
You know, the thing is, there's so many things up on the internet where people are just clout chasing, just saying stupid shit, just for the sake of saying this shit, so they get clickbait. I'm through with all that. As soon as I start hearing something like that, the thing with the woman I told you, and my son sent me this the other day about about Harriet Tubman. So I didn't even finish listening to the stupid shit that she said, because I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. My brain doesn't have that type of room anymore. It doesn't have that type of room. So when I start hearing ignorant shit, I just move on. I just move on. Because I don't want to give any. I don't give a shit about those people. Ignorance. We have enough ignorance in our community, and I'm not going to give ignorant people any more of my damn time. If you that fucking ignorant, fuck you and anybody who thinks like you. That's my philosophy.
You know what? That's a good line to go off on. I don't have nothing else to add to that. That was great.
I did something right today. Ain't that some shit? Look at y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. He agreed with me.
Send this out, because we couldn't end it no better than that. I wish I got it taped. I'm about to go back and listen to. Fuck you. That's all I need. Look.
Hold on. Is Stacey throwing shade at us? No. Black folks out here with podcast. You talking about us? You talking about us, Stacey?
Stacey,
are you trying to throw oak tree at us? Throwing shade on us?
We really are not trying to be clout chasers. We're trying to make a difference. Like, me and Kenneth don't just talk and then don't go out. Even though I don't pay no attention to him, Stacey. He just mad because you agree with me and you came on his Facebook page and agree with me. You know you can't do that. That's the greatest sin. Don't go on his page and then agree with me. You saw all that derision he came through it with. But let's not spoil that great ending he gave us. Because you know he gonna say something dumb to take away what he just said, which was profound. Don't do that. Don't even let's save him from himself. We're gonna save him from himself. That was take us out, Kenneth. Don't say nothing else.
Okay. In the great words of that great Negro barber from Coming to America, fuck you, next. See y'all next week. Y'all have a good week. Y'all be safe.
Harriet, you make sure you tell Mama that's not me. Put her hearing aids in. Make sure you tell her that wasn't me. Put her hearing aids in and make sure that's not Leonard talking. That's his Kenneth Lively. And his mama dead, so she can't come and say nothing to him. She wouldn't be
oh, if she wants to, she'll find a way to tell me, let me know I was wrong.
And I see some lights blinking in your house. Look, I tried to tell him, Miss Lively, you don't listen. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all next week. Deuces.
Oh boy.